Hey y'all, Bridget Bartlett here with My Vision Agency, and today I want to show you how to set up your events for your 4-hour workday strategy. So you'll see here that we are in a Zoom account. This is a free Zoom account. You will need to have a pro account or above. I actually recommend that you get a webinar plan as well. If you go to plans and billing, you'll see the different options here. You can upgrade to pro, and it's $15.99 a month or $13.33 annually. You also can add the webinar once you upgrade to your account. The real difference between a Zoom meeting and a webinar is when people are joining a meeting, they can be seen and heard. And if your video is playing, that can be very disruptive to the meeting. If you have the webinars, they can join as an attendee, and then when the video is done playing, you can upgrade them to a panelist, and then everyone can be seen and heard just like a meeting. So I do recommend the Zoom Pro and adding on the webinars. However, that's just not in your budget, then you can certainly use the Zoom meeting and do the same thing. You'll just need to mute them when you're inviting them into the meeting while the video is playing. So once you decide if you want to do meetings or webinars, I'll go ahead and do a meeting because this is a free plan. Same process as the webinars. You're just going to schedule the meeting. Now, you could call it whatever you want to. You're going to choose the day and time. For me, I am live 5 days a week. So let's say that I wanted to start this next week and I was going to be doing June 2nd at, let's just say 11 a.m. is fine. And this would be an hour long, but it's not going to let me do an hour because I'm in a free account. So just know that limitation. And you're going to choose your time zone. You'll want to choose reoccurring. And if you want to do 5 days a week like I do, you'll do weekly. And then you'll say it repeats every week, and you'll just select the days that you want the event to be on. You can choose an end time, or you can just say no end time. You can add invitees, but none of this is really necessary. Do you want to allow the host and participant to show the video? I do, because I love to see people's faces when we're in the meeting, and we can go ahead and save that event. Now, when you've saved your event, you will have this link here, and this is the link to this specific event. So what we want to do is create a redirect so that we don't have to update this every time. So inside of our HighLevel account, you'll see that we do have a group here. Before we go to create the event inside of our group, we want to go to the settings and domains. You'll see we do have a domain connected to this account, and this is actually what I'm going to use to create my redirect link. So I'm going to go here to redirects, and I'm going to add a redirect link. And I'm going to choose the domain that I want to use. Now, typically, I would not choose a subdomain. I would choose mychosendomain.com, but it doesn't really matter what domain you choose. The important part is here, the path. Now, I can call this whatever I want to. I'm just calling it Zoom because it is a Zoom link. And then I want to paste that Zoom link here. Now, what's going to happen is anytime I need to update that Zoom link anywhere in my account, all I need to do is come here and update the Zoom link, because everywhere that I'm going to put this link, I'm actually going to put, in this case, community.mychosendomain.com/Zoom. So let's go ahead and add that redirect. Now I want to copy this, and we're going to take this back to our group. I'm going to go ahead and log into the group, and we're going to go to our events calendar. And we're just going to create an event here. So we would call it open office hours. And we could choose a color. We can choose the start date and time. So I'm going to choose June 2nd. We said 11 a.m. and it's an hour long. So we're going to say 12. So now we have start time June 2nd at 11 a.m. End time June 2nd at 12 p.m. We're going to choose our time zone here. This will be a reoccurring event. It's going to repeat once a week, and we're going to select these days. So you see the setup is basically just like Zoom. We can choose when this ends. We'll say never. And we can choose our location link. Now, we could put the Zoom link here, But what we're going to do is put that redirect link because, like I said, we want to make sure that we are not having to update the Zoom link everywhere in our account. So I'm actually going to make sure this is a working link by adding the HTTPS, and always test this because you'll see we have a space here. So I always want to test this and make sure that it is redirecting. There you go. So now it's sending to the Zoom link. We want to add a description. This is a test. We can hide the location from non-attendees. We could add an image here. We could remind them the day before. But if we're doing this every Monday through Friday, we don't really want to remind them because we're going to be sending notifications when we are actually going live anyway. So I'm just going to uncheck the box and then click next. And you could set this up as a free or a paid meeting. In this scenario, mine are free. And then you go ahead and create the event. So now you can see the event has been scheduled down here. And if we go into June and all of the next months, they're already scheduled. If we click in there, you'll see the link to go to this meeting is there. So anytime we need to update that, we're going to go back to the redirect area to update that link. So that is how easy it is to set up your Zoom events inside of your community. So now I'm going to show you how to actually go live when it's time and you're utilizing the 4-hour workday strategy. Now, when you have Zoom Workplace, you need to download the desktop version. They always want you to use this. And I showed you in the setup how to actually create the events. When it's time to join the meeting, you just need to go to your workspace and you can actually click here and you'll see the link to join the meeting. For this training, I'm going to just join a new Zoom meeting, and I'm just going to click here to do that. Now you'll see that I do have my avatar. I love to use that for Zoom because, let's be honest, ladies, we're not always ready to be on camera. So I'm utilizing my avatar here. I'm going to go ahead and start the meeting. This definitely works best if you have two screens. If you have one screen, this is going to be a challenge for you, but it's still possible. Before everyone joins us, we are going to have that video queued up and ready to go, but we will not be able to see the comments or anything happening in the meeting, or if people are waiting in the waiting room, if you have that set up. And so the best way to do that is to click the participants there, and you can actually bring these up in separate windows. If I am on my other screen, this is what I'm looking at here. I'm looking at myself here in the webinar, and I also have these two windows pulled up so that I can manage the meeting and the attendees while the video's playing. Now, I'm going to move these over to another window here, and I am going to move myself, of course, but I want to show you what this looks like when you go to share your screen. I'm going to click the share button, and then it brings up this window. Now, I want to make sure that I am selecting the media player. This is going to give you the best quality sound and video inside of the meeting. But I will say, if you have this in full screen, it's not going to show up here. So you need to make sure that it's minimized so that when you're sharing, you'll see here that you can select that media player. Now, you also want to make sure that you're sharing the sound. That's really important. And if you have this option here in your account, optimized for video sharing, you want to choose that as well. So I'm going to go ahead and share. And you can see that I am not on the screen there. That's a setting. Again, you can set in the share settings. And let me bring this over. I want to show you this as well. You'll see here, you can show yourself in the meeting or you can choose not to. So I'm going to hide that. And then you also have this option here. You can show video panel, or you could choose not to show in the video panel. All right. So that is the share settings. I'm going to drag this over to the other window, and I'm going to show myself again. I'm going to bring that in another window. Now, I'm sharing my screen here, and everyone is coming into the meeting. What I want to do is make this full screen, and then I want to go ahead and click play. When the video is over, I'm just going to stop sharing, and then I can minimize my screens and I can get ready over here while I'm talking and greeting everyone. And then here, what I want to do is you'll see participants if you're in a meeting, You'll see panelists and attendees if you're choosing the webinar function. You'll see them divided up here. And as an attendee, they can chat in the chat, but they cannot be seen or heard. So all you need to do is go to the attendees and you'll click the three dots next to their name, and then you can promote them to a panelist. Then they'll be able to be seen and heard. And you could even just allow them to talk if you don't want them to be on video. However, for the community feel, it is really nice to have that option where people can speak freely and share their screen and all of that. So in the meeting, it's just everyone is already upgraded. You don't have to worry about that part. But like I said, when people are joining and the video's playing, it does get disruptive. So that is why I prefer the webinar platform. And that is how easy it is to go live for open office hours and play a pre-recorded video using Zoom meetings and Zoom webinars.